SBP and straight black pride, brothers and sisters. This is your brother, DC Radical 1, with another radical report. And today we're going to talk about the senseless murder of Denise Smith by the coward Patrick Byrne. And first, we're going to read from an article, the title of which says, Army Ranger savagely killed female security guard in drunken rampage, according to police. And it says here, an Army Ranger faces murder charges for allegedly beating and choking to death a recently hired security guard during a vicious attack caught on surveillance video in Washington State. Patrick Byrne, stationed at Joint Base Lewis McChord, was arraigned by video conference from his jail cell on Friday, and a court-appointed attorney pleaded not guilty on his behalf. Court documents obtained by local outlets show that Pierce County prosecutors have accused Byrne of first-degree murder for killing 41-year-old Denise Smith as she was on duty at a downtown Tacoma office building on Sunday. Her bloody, lifeless body was found on the floor by a co-worker at about 6 a.m. on July 18th. According to court documents, investigators say that Smith had been beaten until she was unrecognizable, and she was declared dead at the scene. Police alleged that witnesses told them Byrne had been punched in the face during a bar fight on Saturday night before he made his way to the office building where Smith worked. Officers learned that Byrne had been drinking that night. Then, at about 1 a.m. Sunday morning, he appeared at the doors of the office building and barged past Smith when she opened them, likely prompting her to ask him to leave, according to court documents. Investigators say that security camera footage that appeared to capture Byrne's roughly 10-minute assault on Smith, who repeatedly tried to fight back and flee. Her efforts were futile. Now I'm going to stop right there. Now, this says, the key parts of this is it says they have video footage. And if you are familiar with office buildings, most office buildings in most cities I've been to have cameras pretty much everywhere, and you don't even notice. And they have security everywhere. They have people monitoring the cameras, and so the movements, especially at the exits, will be monitored. And that seems to, and that, according to the article, that's the case here. So what we have is a person who was caught on video brutally murdering a black woman, beating her to death for no reason, and he has pled not guilty, which is a cowardly act and a lie in and of itself, because you've been caught on tape. So why not just simply plead guilty, accept your time, and going about your business? But it appears that he wants to adjudicate this case, which means that if people do not pressure the DA in this case, it's likely justice will not be served. But what we're going to do here, we're going to watch the local news report about this case. Then we'll come back, finish the article, and finish the discussion.
A man accused of brutally beating a Tacoma security guard to death made his first appearance in court today.
Court documents claim that the JBLM Army Ranger was so drunk he doesn't even remember committing that crime. Q13 News reporter Frankie Thompson is live in Tacoma with today's unsettling new details. Frankie?
Jamie, a judge says 26-year-old Patrick Byrne is a danger to the community and set his bail at $2 million. The U.S. Army soldier faces 5 felony charges, including murder, for the brutal attack of 41-year-old Denise Nicole Smith. Today, Byrne's attorney says he is pleading not guilty on all 5 counts. Investigators say a drunken Byrne severely beat Smith while she was working as a security guard in Tacoma, trying to stop him from entering a building Sunday morning. Security cameras captured the moments before, during, and after the attack. Court documents say he barged his way past Smith into the building she was patrolling. When she grabbed Byrne by the shirt trying to stop him, the court documents say that's when he began beating her for 8 to 10 minutes. Prosecutors say Byrne grabbed Smith by her braids and dragged her like a rag doll while she was fighting for her life. The documents say Byrne choked Smith until her body went limp. When coworkers came in that morning to switch shifts, they found her bleeding and unresponsive on the ground. Investigators say she was practically unrecognizable when she was pronounced dead on the scene. Detectives say Byrne told them he was drinking and doesn't remember anything except waking up in a hospital.
But the absolute rage that was that the defendant showed in this incident, I think puts the community at risk. And I think a $2 million bail would be appropriate.
JBLM confirms it is aware of Byrne's arrest. Today, prosecutors say the military informed them that it is separating from Byrne. In a statement, JBLM says U.S. Army Special Operations Command, as well as the leadership at Joint Base Lewis McChord, are cooperating fully with local law enforcement agencies in the ongoing investigation. Again, Byrne has 5 felony charges against him, including murder, burglary, and kidnapping. His next court hearing is scheduled for August 16th. Reporting live in Tacoma, Frankie Thompson, Q13 News.
Now, we heard the description of the murder. And this person claims that they don't remember anything and he woke up in the hospital. But let's finish reading the article, because the article really details the heinousness of the crime and it goes into great detail. And this may be triggering for some people. So I'm just going to give a warning because it's very disturbing to hear. It says that Byrne repeatedly struck Smith with his fist, grabbed her braided hair, and dragged her around like a rag doll, court documents state. Byrne also seized Smith's keys and used them to stab her face before eventually choking her until she went limp. He repeatedly overpowered her, assaulted her, and threw her around by her hair braid, the court documents state. After leaving her severely beaten body, Byrne entered a conference room, smashed a window, and began flinging around furniture, court documents say. He then jumped or fell about 14 feet from a landing, according to documents. Another security camera captured him lying on concrete. Police said Byrne was taken to the hospital early Sunday after a 911 call about a bloody man who was yelling for help near the site of the killing. Byrne told a witness that he had been stabbed, but authorities say that they found no evidence of stab wounds. KING-TV and others reported. Byrne also told a nurse that he'd been sexually assaulted, but declined to let doctors perform a related exam, the outlet said. Officers were reportedly told he was intoxicated and had a head injury. Police alleged Byrne was questioned at the hospital and told them he did not remember the attack and had blacked out after drinking at the bar. According to Stars and Stripes, 26-year-old Byrne entered the Army in March 2019 as an infantryman. The following year, he completed the Ranger Assessment and Selection Program and was later assigned to Lewis McChord, the outlet reported. The U.S. Army issued a statement Friday describing the reports of Byrne's alleged assault as absolutely appalling. All right, so let's stop right here and let's review. We have a 26-year-old in the prime of his life, in good physical condition, militarily trained Army, a soldier who's a member of the Army Rangers. an elite special forces unit, assaulting a 41-year-old black woman who had basically just started her job. And I will have to point out that there is some culpability with her company, because I don't understand why they would have only one person working on a Saturday night in an area where obviously there are other businesses and um, bars and clubs and things like that. And we know that alcohol makes people unruly. We know people have been locked down. We know that a lot of people want to get out. A lot of people are going to over drink and things like that. So I do not understand that from the company that she works for. And it's possible, and I don't know the situation. It's possible that she was not aware of the area and potential dangers, but I really don't understand having only one person working, and apparently there was no one that she was able to call. And the fact that they didn't find her body until the change of shift the next day pretty much lets us know that they didn't apparently had no system for checking on their employees during the overnight shift. Considering that the person was working the site by themselves, I don't understand that. I'm sure they'll review that. Of course, it's after the point now. With that being said, this person, Patrick Byrne, should be prosecuted to the furthest extent of the law. He murdered this woman for no reason. If you could just imagine the fear that she felt as she fought for her life against an Army Ranger, a person who is trained and paid to kill people, as he viciously beat her to death with his bare hands and stabbed her with her own keys. And now the coward claims that he doesn't remember, which I'm sure will be part of his defense. And I'm sure he'll bring up being punched and, all types of crazy things are going to happen. So the reason that I want to cover this case, brothers and sisters, because this is a case where we have to keep an eye on, and we have to keep the pressure on the prosecutor in this case to prosecute him to the fullest extent of the law. They have video documentation of the crime. And to be honest, I believe that they should investigate who punched him in the face and see if that was a black person, and see if they can put civil rights charges and hate crime charges on top of the charges that have already been set. There's no way we should let this ride. We cannot allow militarily trained white men to run around and brutally beat to death black women and nobody answering for it. So with that, brothers and sisters, I thank you all for listening. Thank you all for your support of the channel. And be sure to keep an eye out on this case. If we have any listeners that are in the Tacoma area, let us know what's going on with that. I'll try to follow the case periodically to see how it is adjudicated and what outcome is. Unfortunately, in these cases, many times the adjudication of these cases, they take so long, months up to a year and a half, that many times these types of cases fall into the cracks, and we don't actually get to know what actually happened. But this is a case where the person should be prosecuted to the furthest extent of the law, and everything should be done to put him away for the rest of his life. With that, brothers and sisters, I say a BB for Hodier and straight black pride.